Hi everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am here to share with you today this layout I created using the October Hip Kit. I started by stamping this little tiny stamp, super cute, in every single circle on this gorgeous paper by my Pretty Leo Studio. I used clear embossing ink for that, and it's simply because I am then using a copper color embossing powder. So as you see, I just spread it all across my page everywhere, covering every single circle so that it's all covered and ready to be embossed. So I started with one half and then I covered the second half. So there you go. And as you might know, pots of embossing powder go a very long way. There I removed all the excess so that we don't end up with a stray embossing powder when I start to melt it. I just want it to still keep my clean background. So I embossed every single bit of powder I had. It takes a little bit of time, but to be fair, it's fairly straightforward and an easy process. So I go around with my heat gun. I mentioned somewhere yesterday that my heat gun is my most used tool that I've got alongside my craft knife. I just couldn't live without either of them. So I started to try melting some of the acetate leaf with my heat gun. Melting acetate is a technique I've used in the past before, and it gives it that little crinkle effect. It reproduces dried leaves, autumn leaves in nature. It gives it that buckled effect. It stops it from being completely flat, and I wanted to bring volume to my layout for this one. So I selected all of the leaves that I had remaining in my kits, including acetate, including vellum and cardstock, etc., and chipboard. And all the acetate one, I melted them. So now what I'm doing is I'm separating it because the idea I had in mind was to have two different lot of leaves. So I separated so that we end up with something fairly equal. And now I do the same with what vellum leaves I had left over. And again with the ephemeras. And I also have fussy cut all of the leaves out of the Paige Evans pink paisley paper. So I'm separating that. And now I'm starting to play around and place them in the idea I had in my mind. I just place them and then I get bored quite easily, so I just decided to go ahead and just glue it down and wish for it to turn out like I was imagining. So I realised as well that the acetate one, because of the volume, the added volume, weren't really gluing very well with my glossy accent, which is the glue that I normally use all the time. So all the acetate one, I've glued them down with my heat gun. They are sturdy enough that they do not melt through. It's really, really perfect for that. So as you can see, I'm just gluing everything down and building up that layering of leaves. I just really wanted to achieve that autumnal pile of leaves look on my layout. And I love all of those bright colours against that dotty background. I think it's absolutely stunning. So still accumulating, layering it down, and being generous, and it's really about going for it and not being economical and just layering it to get that effect and that result. The good thing with it is you only glue a tiny bit. You just put a tiny bit of glue on your leaves, and as you'll see later, it's fairly easy to remove. Everybody's sometimes go overboard. Now I'm playing with my photographs and where I want to put it, and I realise I'm covering a lot of the leaves that I've put down, so I decided not to waste them and remove the leaves that would be completely hidden. So now I'm trimming my photograph and playing around, still removing a few more leaves. Because then I decided to put it on the left. I thought if putting it on the right at a tilted angle, it looked like Sophia is falling over, whereas that way it gives Sophia a bit more stability. So I put it down with a sticky foam pad. And now I'm rebuilding the leaves on the side and creating that gorgeous layering. It's very rich and opulent, and I just love that about this collection, and it's very autumnal and makes you feel cozy and warm, and I just love it. And it's so about being generous, this layout, and really layering and layering and layering, and more is more in this instance. So I decided to keep the strip at the bottom because I thought it looked really, really good and worked really well with this paper anyway and with all the leaves. So I used my border punch, an old border punch, and punched the border to give it that lacy look, because I think all the leaves as well have a lacy look. So I'm gluing it down with double sticky tape, having a quick look, and then I'm building the top end, which is the reason why I had kept some of the leaves as well. So I'm starting to glue down, starting with the acetate one, adding some paper ones, vellum ones, and then I realised it's just easier if I just turn it out and do it that way. I wanted to have a better look of what I was doing. So it's all about layering. I absolutely love this kit. I just can't stop playing with it. I use a leftover, one of the offcut from the Amy Tangerine paper. I drew a circle behind it, then I punched the edge. I turned the punch around so that I can see and place properly. So I end up having a nice little doily effect because I've cut it in a round, a bit of a round shape. So obviously it wouldn't line up properly without checking where you're punching. And glue it all down. I've glued it down with a heat gun simply to have a better flattened result. I felt sticky tape wasn't enough in that instance. So now I'm playing with some of the gorgeous chipboard, starting to decorate my layout and choosing my title. I decided to go with Thankful, because I'm so thankful for my little baby daughter. I think she's absolutely perfect and she's the best thing that happened to me. So this title was perfect, and on top of it, as a bonus, the colour worked just perfectly. I used one of the other stamps and I distressed the edges, put it down, and mounted it on sticky foam pads. I thought that the Fall in Love was too big and overtaking too much of the photo. So I went for Remember chipboard. Now I'm adding the date. So as you can see, I've kept the blue from the plaid paper simply because I thought that blue really cut through all these rich, warm autumnal colour, and I just like it, just give it that little bit of coolness. And now I added a few crosses around, a few X's around my page in that mustard colour. I was completely inspired by the background behind the stamps. It was just simply gorgeous. So this is where my videoing stopped, but as you can see on my layout, I've added some journaling. When I stepped away from my layout, after a bit, I realised there was something missing, and I just wanted to add a bit of journaling to complement my layout. So I did that off camera. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Bye!